breeze of fresh air to me. Now, if we think about it, from my experience, we do get, in certain degree, affected by the environment we are in. Even though each of us have our independent thinking, that your environment does influence you, and they can elevate you if you are in an environment that can promote you to your full potential. Then I thought, the people that actually inspires me or that I'm interested to know are the people making history in business, in social contribution. How do I increase my contact with them? What can I do? There are actually things we can do. I'd like to share 3 key things today. One is through direct contact, face-to-face meetings, phone calls, or be in the same community. Imagine today, don't everyone here has the intention to become a great speaker? So being in the Toastmaster environment, observing the great speakers, see what they do and how they do it, would be the perfect way to become one of them. I've been reading the biography of Elon Musk recently. We all know who they are, who he is, the founder of SpaceX and Tesla. And what's very interesting is that back in the days when he was in college, he and his brother, they were in Canada for going to college. They would look up interesting people and famous people. They would call them up and ask them out for lunch. Of course, this is rejected by many famous people, but there was a few who actually took the request because they're like, they say, at this young age, you are able and dare to ask for what you want. They gave them a chance. And one of the persons they met was a very influential guy in the financial banking industry back in Canada, and offered Elon his first internship at the bank. And you never know what surprise, intimate contact will bring you. A second way is actually bring them in front of you through their work. By that I mean books, podcasts, or interviews. I have a friend, she once told me she loves reading, and she said, you know, through reading you can connect with those great minds through their work. You are basically immerse yourself in the same kind of wavelength with people that may not be here anymore. They may be historic figure from thousands of years ago. And I thought that was a great reason why we should read more, so we can connect and share the wisdom. Lastly is through visualization. If you aspire to be some sort of person, think and mentally consult with this person. When you have challenges, and observe what they say to you mentally. Imagine if I am challenged in pursuing my dream and I would consult with Elon Musk, what would he say to me? I learned, colonize a planet and electric cars were his dreams since he was little. And now he has those 2 ventures. I'm sure he would tell me 100%, go after your dreams. So if I think back, association is like a thermostat in the room. If you aspire to be some kind of person, stay in the same room temperature as this kind of person through direct contacts, their work, and also their thinking. If you do this often enough and long enough, you will find yourself possessing the same skill sets and become the person you aspire to be. And come on, if a monkey can do it, we all can do it.
Thank you so much, Sunday. This is the second time I've heard this, and I really like this presentation so much better. Thank you. I'd like to bring Jerry up to the stand for a moment.
The reason that for our guests, the reason that we did this is because when you're the Toastmaster, you don't want to read your own introduction. Because otherwise, if you read your own introduction, it's kind of like you spin around and then you come out on the other side as the speaker. So that's why I'm going to introduce Marty. Marty Gillot, some of you know, is an artist, a writer, a poet, a philosopher, an inventor, father, and a friend. Notice the alliteration. A euphoric optimist. I would say that Marty's more of an internal optimist, persistently pursuing his passion of helping hundreds harness happiness. Marty enjoys, I know this for sure, and speaking in front of adults. Imagine that. And children, hoping to help them discover their passion and teach them how to explode with excitement and presentations. As a member of Long Grove Lake Zurich Toastmasters, SundaySpeakers, and, which I didn't know this part, Good Humor Toastmasters. I'm going to have to ask Marty more about that. Marty feels his greatest achievement has been facilitating the youth leadership program and watching those kids grow into excellent and great speakers. Today, Marty would like to talk a little bit about talking. Pencil me in. Pencil me in. Please help me welcome to the lectern, Marty Gillot.
Hello again, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about what we need in life. How many people here have excelled in mathematics? Or they push their children in math? Anybody? A few people? All right. For me, mathematics and public speaking have been the two most important things. I've always pushed myself in those directions, and I push my children. The reason is simple. Mathematics, if you're good at math, you are automatically perceived as more intelligent in the among the people you're surrounding with or you're surrounded by. Secondly is public speaking. It's so important to learn the skills of public speaking because you gain confidence and you appear more confident in front of people. You can see someone like Amy and Sunday who's come here and they're becoming more and more confident in the way they speak. That's just going to help them in everything they do in life. Those are the two most important things. Now, Toastmasters is not going to be able to help you too much with mathematics. You're on your own with that. But we are here for public speaking. Now, why Toastmasters? Why should we come to Toastmasters to learn about public speaking? Number one is it's the most friendly attitude or the most friendly environment you're ever going to be around. When you're up here, you are completely surrounded by family. And there is no greater family than SundaySpeakers. Everyone here encourages each other, and we move forward with this. We're a group of friends that are here for nothing more than to help each other grow. Toastmasters is broken down into a couple of other areas. One of the areas is pathways. When you join here, you follow paths. You go online and you pick the path, the direction you want to head into, whether it's leadership, strategic motivation, humor, etc. There's a number of different paths. And Pathways guides you through your life on learning public speaking along the path you want to go to. Still up to you to write your own speeches, but Pathway gives you a guide. Secondly, the mentorship. If you're stuck on something and you want to grow and you want to become even better, Toastmasters offers you this mentorship so that you can sit here and talk to somebody in the club who maybe has a little bit more experience and comes back to you and says, hey, this is something that I think you should challenge yourself with. Something to get yourself just a little bit better. That's an important part of Toastmasters. And like I was saying before, Toastmasters is broken down into 3 different categories. And I like using a little prop because it's easier for me to remember. Number 1 is prepared speeches. Taking a pencil and you're writing your own speeches. Now the speeches that we've heard today, the first 2 and mine here, are prepared speeches. We took our time, wrote down words, we practiced these words over and over again. And that's important, and it's important for us to have the opportunity to stand in front of this group and present our ideas and see how they're accepted. Number 2 is evaluation. After you hear from the people in the room here, you're going to be evaluated. You're going to go home and use your eraser and change things on your speeches to make them better. And that's what's the most important thing. That's the whole reason we're here. We are here to grow. We're not here to stay stagnant. We're here to grow. So we want to hear these gifts that we're getting from everybody else, and we want to improve. And lastly, the most fun part for me is I look at this. The part that uses all your imagination, table topics. You sit there and you get a topic and you speak impromptu. You walk up here cold, not knowing what you're going to talk about, but you learn to speak quickly, which is such an important skill in life. You walk into a party, you need to walk up, your boss asks you a question. You find that special person in your life and you only have seconds to come up with something interesting to say. That's what Table Topics teaches you. Now, the reason I pull out pencils is I love pencils. Pencils remind me of a lot of different things when I'm creating a speech. Number one, I have an important message to get across, but I have a habit of speaking very quickly. Pencils are yellow. Yellow means slow down. So when I look at a pencil, I see the yellow and I say to myself, slow down. Take your time. Make sure your message gets across to everybody properly. The next thing that pencils remind me is this. Don't ever be afraid to walk up here and give a speech. Never, ever be afraid. I guarantee you, no matter how often you do this, you are going to run into somebody who gives a speech better than you. You will always find someone better. Don't worry about that. And keep in mind, if number 2 is okay for a pencil, it's okay for you as well. Lastly, with a pencil, and I use multiple pencils, because sometimes, if I can find them, sometimes you need props. Pencils are great for me because in tabletops especially, I could be eating with them, I could be playing the drums, I could hold them behind my head and become an alien. All right? I need some, every once in a while, I need props just to keep my hands still. Otherwise, I don't know where my hands are going to go. So, again, I'm going to ask the same question I asked earlier. How many people here are brand new, never been to this group before? Raise your hands. 1, 2, raise your hand. Thank you. 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4 people. What I'd like to do is, now, out of the people that are here, how many people, members, have not gotten up and given a speech in a while? Raise your hands. There's 3, 4 people, 5 people. Thank you, Chen. All right. What I'd like you to do is take the opportunity to pencil yourself in. You've done this spot. You've walked in. You've come to the meeting. You can learn a little bit of meeting by listening to speeches, but there's nothing better than standing up here in front of the people. So who takes, Chen, you're in charge of the next meeting as far as writing it down. What I'd like to do is, out of the people who already rose your hand, now that you're used to raising your hand, I'd like 3 people to raise their hand one more time to tell Chen that at the next meeting, they're willing to give a speech. And the new people, the speech is the icebreaker. You're only talking a few minutes about yourself. So I see you're smiling over there, so I know you're ready to raise your hand. All right, so Chen, we have 1 person. The question is, do we have 2? All right, there we go. All right, excellent. Lastly is to remember, last thing with the pencil, is if you get up here and you fail, you get too nervous, and all of a sudden, you snap, don't worry about it. Toastmasters gives you the ability to sharpen your pencil and give a better speech the next time. Thank you very much.